Good morning everyone, it's Matt Soper here from Hampshire Carnivorous Plants. It's the 5th of July and I thought we'd have a look at the bog garden to see how everything's growing. It's been a bit of a time since our last video, so I felt we needed one, and also I've been asked quite a lot of questions via email and on our Facebook about the construction of the bog garden, and also a lot of people want to see how the plants are actually doing. Are they hardy? Do they do really well outside? Lots and lots of questions. So if you saw the first film, you'll see that we planted it up last year in May, and they looked great then because they just came out the glass house. Well, since then they've overwintered and they're all coming up now. So if you'd like to come in and have a look, we'll see how they're doing. And to be honest, I think they look absolutely fabulous. They're far better than we expected. We've got Sarracenia Capillary here, which is doing really well. Here we've got Drosera intermedia hybrids. Sarracenia purpurea, obviously we knew this would do well. Here's Brooks hybrid, which one of the questions we were asked, do they get as tall outside? Well, not far off. These are about 70 centimetres. Done very well. These have done better than we thought they would do. Another plant that's done well over here is Drosera Bonata variant dichotoma. It's overwintered really well outside, you can see here. Here's a small rotundifolia starting to come up, small Drosera. Another purpurea. They're moving around the bog a bit. Sarracenia aureophila, exceptional, really good bog garden plant. Vigorous, strong, it's done very well. The hybrid Judith Hindle, a bit slower, but you can see they're starting to colour up now. Loads of new traps coming up on the plant, done very well. But again, I mean, you can see they've done fantastic. Everything's doing so well. This is really nice here. This is a purpurea. There's a beautiful rotundifolia that started to come up in here. This has just come up by itself from seed, probably from the sphagnum moss. Here's another rotundifolia here. I would add they're a lot slower out here than they are under glass. The plants under glass flowers are finished, and some of them are starting to go over even, whereas the ones here in the bog garden, they're looking great. They seem to last a lot longer as well. Another question we've had, do we get problems with wind damage? We have had a bit. I mean, you can see that one or two pictures have blown over. Here's one here, and some of the taller traps, but on the whole, not too bad. We haven't had any super stormy weather down here this year, so I suppose that's to be expected. I would imagine if we had really high winds when the plants were coming up, which is probably around about mid-April for this bog garden, we would have had a lot more damage from wind. So if you can put your bog garden somewhere where it's going to be protected from strong wind, that would be a good idea. Now, to answer a couple of the questions, someone asked, is the bog garden drained? No, this is a completely sealed membrane. When it rains, it does flood, and it just overflows. We haven't even got an overflow in the bog yet. I haven't got round to putting an overflow into it, just to see what would happen. So everything has just been sat in very wet peat. People have asked what compost we've used. They are in pure peat. That's what they're growing in, and that's what they seem to like to be in. We've added some bits of sphagnum, which is growing really well, as you can see. So they're just in peat. Another question we've been asked is, why have we got capillary matting around the edge? You can see here, this is capillary matting. Then we've got, this is actually silage sheet. Now, I would have used a butyl rubber pond liner, but at the start of the pandemic it was very hard to get hold of, and there was a 3-month waiting list. So the second best thing we used was this silage sheet, which is quite strong and it does the job. And to the capillary matting, the reason we've used capillary matting, it's second-hand matting which we've used in the greenhouse. We've got a lot of it, so we used it. If you wanted something else other than capillary matting, you could use old carpet or carpet underlay. It's just something to protect the liner. As I said, we've used silage sheet and not a proper pond liner.